Today on Hearts of Heroes, trains, a tinderbox, and twisters.
Boom, it came down on me.
Several tornadoes, including an EF2, stream across a crowded urban hub.
I just started screaming like I'm in a tornado.
Plus, a car crash leaves one vehicle in the direct path of a speeding train.
I remember yelling, "Clear the tracks."
And later, a young boy jumps into action when his family is caught in a roaring house fire.
I just saw flames spreading high.
He came in my room and said, "You have to go, the third floor is burning."
We had to get out the house quick.
These first responders have one goal: to save the lives of those in peril. The state of Louisiana is no stranger to hurricanes, but they also get dozens of tornadoes each year.
And when a powerful twister ripped through Jefferson Parish, it not only impacted the lives of the folks that live there, but the entire sheriff's department as well.
The state of Louisiana is unique in so many ways. One of those ways, it is not divided by counties, but rather by parishes. Jefferson Parish covers a large swath south of New Orleans.
Jefferson Parish is actually one of the largest parishes in population, but also in size. It goes from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to Lake Pontchartrain.
Because of its size, the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Department has to be prepared for any kind of emergency.
We're the largest sheriff's office in the state. The terrain of which we cover ranges dramatically. We have rural areas, we have suburban areas, we have swamps and water. You know, it's a lot of mix of Louisiana into one department.
We are lucky in Jefferson Parish. We operate 3 helicopters. We've got probably over 30 boats, 20 or so high water vehicles that can do mass evacuations.
They also have a state-of-the-art facility for their 1,400 employees.
You have the range, you have some training houses with the SWAT locker area, and then next to that is the property and evidence room, and then it's the land, air, sea emergency rescue area. It's where the toys are: boats, four-wheelers, helicopters.
In December of 2022, the department was preparing for severe storms that were forecast to erupt in their parish.
We got the alert that severe weather was coming in, so I told all my guys to go ahead and start preparing themselves.
He had asked if I would just be available in the event I had to come back here. I had told him I still got to go to the gym, so I'm just going to be here. If you need anything, just call me. So I went to the gym and I started working out.
I was actually home when the storm started coming through. It wasn't until my dispatch called and said, "Okay, it looks like we have a tornado that's touching down on the West Bank."
Like many tornado events, there were multiple tornadoes that day. At least 6 tornadoes from southeast Louisiana through southwest Mississippi had independent paths of damage.
During that workout, the power went off, and it sounded like a train, and then this big loud bang, like boom. And then the power came back on. I was like, man, what was that? A few minutes later, another officer comes running in the gym because the tornado hit the building. So I went outside, and when I came into the parking lot, the roof had ripped off, and all the debris was everywhere in the parking lot.
Meanwhile, Jefferson Parish resident Michael Willis was out running errands when the storm hit.
I went to the drugstore, and when I come out, the winds was like nothing I've ever seen in my life.
As Michael started driving, the tornado hit his truck.
And next minute, boom, it came down on me. All of it was coming towards me.
The twister began churning up the car lot next to Michael's truck.
They got bricks coming out this car lot. I'm looking at cars flip, I'm tied down.
Suddenly, the tornado lifted Michael's truck right off the ground.
And I just started screaming like I'm in a tornado. Then I just balled up and put my head down towards the steering wheel and started praying.
Coming up, the ferocity of the tornado leaves everyone stunned.
He says, boss, it's bad. You need to get here.
But first, some important information to keep you safe in case you get that warning that a tornado's coming.
Let's face it, the destructive power of tornadoes can be frightening, but knowing the facts can help keep you calm and safe.
If you live in an area prone to twisters, learn the difference between a tornado watch and warning. A watch means that conditions are favorable for tornadoes to form, so stay alert. A warning means that a twister has been spotted or shown up on radar. If that's the case, seek shelter immediately.
Always remember to listen to your local weather updates and stay informed. Understanding the facts can help keep you safe from harm's way.
Jefferson Parish, Louisiana was bracing for severe weather when several tornadoes erupted.
I was coming this way, and when I got like where that white truck is at, that's when it just came down out the sky. Like it wasn't in front of me, it wasn't on the side of me, it just came, boom, out the sky.
Michael Willis was lifted into the tornado's vortex.
And then it just popped me out.
The twister would throw Michael's truck hundreds of feet. He landed about a block away from where he started. Shockingly, Michael kept driving. Meanwhile, at the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Law Enforcement Facility, Sergeant David Dalton was at the gym when the twister slammed into the building. He went outside to investigate.
There was rebar and I-beams scattered everywhere. There was a pickup truck that was in the parking lot on top of the fence that wasn't there before. You could obviously tell the tornado hit, so I was like, let me go check on the range.
The roof of the range just got ripped off. So it's immediate, get back to the facility to assess the damage.
I walked back to the range, and when I walked back, the entire roof had collapsed. There was water everywhere, like a waterfall running.
Deputy Griffin made a frantic call to Sheriff Lupinto.
He says, boss, it's bad. You need to get here.
Even though a large part of their building had suffered major damage, they knew a central command post was needed to help the people of Jefferson Parish.
We still have a job to do and a commitment to the community to provide them a safer place to live. So that can't stop just because a building got damaged.
We utilized our helipad as a parking lot to be able to have people in. We had staff and equipment out there pulling the roof out of the way so we can utilize the parking lot. Where we set up for our command headquarters that night was only 100 feet from total devastation to one of our other buildings.
As they set up the command post, sheriff's deputies were dispatched to help other people affected by the tornadoes.
We owe it to our citizens to be there quickly to work through their problem.
After the storm passed, in addition to helping all the folks in need, the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Department now had to deal with the massive damage done to their headquarters.
Start planning for the long haul. How long will it take to get this facility back up and running? Where will we be able to go to continue the training?
Our sponsor, Belfour Property Restoration, was soon at the scene.
70% of the roof was torn off, so we worked around the clock for the first 3 days to put a temporary roof on to secure the building, and then started doing the remediation inside.
They just went to work. It was very amazing to see how coordinated they were and how much production they got done in just a small amount of time.
Removing sheetrock, insulation, carpeting, all things that were affected by water, and then getting the place dried out.
We want to get it back to where it was, but make it a little bit better. We want to bring the most realistic training that we can to our officers, so we always want to be that state of the art.
Feels great. Put the Sheriff's Department back in a better building and able to serve the community.
This devastating storm is forever embedded in the memory of those who were impacted, including the first responders who put their own needs aside to help everyone else.
I guess like they say, not about the storm, it's how you weather the storm.
Coming up, a freight train races toward a car that had just been in a crash, putting the injured passenger inside at even greater risk.
As soon as I got up there, I had maybe 10 seconds.
But first, a few tips to keep you safe should you find yourself in the path of a tornado.
Tornadoes don't discriminate. They'll destroy any structure in their path. Some homes in tornado zones have storm safety cellars, while others are built on land that does not allow for underground construction.
If you're in a building without a basement and a storm is on its way, avoid windows, stay low, and cover your head with your hands or a blanket. Try to get to the lowest point of the building. Find an inner room without windows, like a bathroom, a closet, or under a staircase.
Be sure to identify a safe place in your home before a storm hits. That way, you'll know where to go. Every moment of every day, someone is caught off guard and faced with an emergency situation. And you're about to see just that.
The good news is the first responders were right there on the ready. Thankfully, they jumped into action and made an impact on the folks you're about to meet that they'll never forget.
Portage, Michigan is a sleepy suburb outside Kalamazoo, Michigan.
We have bike paths, we have multiple lakes. There's 8 different lakes within the city of Portage. It's a great place to live.
Aside from friendly people and beautiful landscapes, Portage has something else. Trains. Lots and lots of trains.
We have multiple trains going through, and it goes right down through the center of town. It actually splits Portage, the east and west.
Trains come through quite a bit, and it happens to be that Station 1's right across the street from a train track, so we hear it often 6-8 times a day.
The station's proximity to the railway was crucial in a life-or-death rescue in January of 2023.
We just got up and we were out cleaning rigs in the apparatus bay when we got the call that there was a vehicle that's overturned on the railroad tracks.
There had been an accident that had occurred in the intersection, and the car ended up on the tracks on its side.
We're able to get into our gear and into the apparatus quick to be able to respond to that.
They were out the door within a minute and then arrived on scene within a minute. The call was maybe 500 yards down the road.
The accident happened at the intersection just behind us here. The vehicle was turned over on its side right on the tracks.
As soon as we saw the overturned vehicle, I directed my driver where to park.
As firefighter Leatherman assessed the victim's condition, Captain William Graham pulled his rig on the opposite side of the tracks and activated his dashboard cam.
I could hear the train horn, and I was like, oh no. So then it was dispatch, we need to get that train stopped. But then it's too late. I remember yelling, hey, clear the tracks.
Directly in the path of the approaching train, firefighter Leatherman knew he had only moments to extricate the passenger.
I called my partner, and he came to assist me so we could pull the patient from the vehicle.
Unaware that firefighter Leatherman, his partner, had safely cleared the scene, Captain Graham watched in horror from the opposite side of the track.
I could hear it, and just the crunching, like a soda can that you would crush really fast.
Once the train passed, Captain Graham approached another first responder nearby.
He went up to check the car, and I was like, you sure there's nobody in there? He's like, no, nobody's in it.
Captain Graham was relieved to hear that his team and the driver all made it out safely and just in time.
They performed flawlessly. There was no mistakes at all, because 1,000 things could have went wrong, and everything went perfect for them.
We did the job that needed to be done and was successful. It was a good outcome. Sometimes we do have to risk our lives to save others, and that was the time to risk it.
Coming up, an 11-year-old attempts to save his family when their house goes up in flames.
I ran downstairs, get up, there's a fire in the house.
So often we hear stories of heroics performed by adults, but now and again, a rescue comes our way that proves heroes come in all ages.
And when a fire rips through his home, an 11-year-old boy would become his family's hero and saving grace.
Bridgeport, Pennsylvania is a quaint township just outside of Philadelphia.
Bridgeport itself is under a square mile. I think the census is marked as 0.66 square miles, so we're not even 3/4 of a mile.
Dana Pierce shared a 3-story home in Bridgeport with her mother, brother, and her exceptional 11-year-old son, Paulie.
He has autism. He's verbal, so he does talk. He just has different ways of learning. There's nothing wrong with a child with autism. They are brilliant in so many ways. He's very computer savvy. He makes videos. He is a genius in music. He played the piano when he was 3.
When local firefighters spoke to Paulie's school about fire safety, he was paying close attention. And what he learned meant a difference between life and death.
In school, they told me about fire safety.
Stuff that he learned in fire prevention about even if your smoke alarm goes off, you're supposed to tell everybody in your house, we gotta get outside and wait for the firemen to show up.
In March of 2023, Paulie's fire safety knowledge and heroic actions would save the lives of his entire family.
I was very sick that night. I had said to my mom, can you watch him? I gotta lay down for a little bit. I'm not feeling well. I said, I'll put him to bed at 8:30. She went to sleep, and the next thing, I went to bed after I put him to bed.
The family drifted off to sleep. Dana and Paulie in the 3rd-floor bedroom, Dana's brother Carl in the 2nd story, and Paulie's grandmother, Mary Louise, on the ground floor. Suddenly, Paulie awoke to a terrifying sight.
I was just sleeping in bed with Mommy, and then I woke up, then I looked, and like, why is there a fire on the bed? I just saw flames spreading high.
Paulie immediately woke his mother.
I was in shock. The room was engulfed in flames. I yelled at Paulie to go down and get Grandmom and Uncle Carl out of the house.
Then he ran 2 flights down to his grandmother's room.
He came in my room, grabbed me by my sleeve, and said, you have to go. The 3rd floor is burning, and you have to go. And I thought he was kidding.
But there was no time to lose. Paulie headed up to the 2nd floor to wake up his uncle.
I shook Uncle Carl too, and I woke him up, and then I told him we had to get out the house.
He did everything by the book, got my brother up, calmly woke him up and said, you need to call an ambulance. There's a fire.
Paulie went back downstairs to help his grandmother out of the house. And thanks to his school training, he knew not to re-enter the house and go to find his mom, who by now was making her way down the stairs, through the flames, and out of the house.
When Dana came through, she was burning. Next thing I know, she was outside, and they rolled her down to the ambulance.
By the time the family made it out, the town's all-volunteer fire department was on the scene.
Literally, the fire was not even 100 yards away from where our station is. A lot of black billowing smoke out of the 3rd floor. They got right in there. I think by the time I got over here with the 2nd truck, they already had water on the fire that fast.
Once the flames were out, Paulie made sure to thank the heroes who put out the fire.
He's high-fiving people, and he was shaking people's hands, telling the fire company, thank you guys so much. You guys are doing a great job.
While they're always driven to save lives, for these firefighters, this one was personal.
I actually went to school with Dana, and I knew her brother very well. So I've known her a pretty long time in my life.
Over the next few months, Dana recovered from her severe burns, and the family is well aware that things could have been much worse if not for the heroic actions of Paulie, their brave 11-year-old.
If he had not did what he did, we would have died. I don't think Dana would have made it another minute. Because of the flames and the burns that she had, I know how bad that was. He is a hero.
In the weeks afterward, Paulie was honored by the community for his bravery.
Paulie, our hero, age 11. This is my award trophy. This is when I helped my family. I feel like happy when people call me a hero. They want to sign my autograph. I don't know how they want my autograph. Well, I'm on the news because I'm famous, probably.
I believe that he definitely has angels watching over him, and this kid is a miracle in every sense.
Amazing stories of bravery, courage, and heroism are all so inspiring and heartfelt.
We never know what situations might come our way, but stories like we just saw prove that we all do have a little hero in us.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time, right here on Hearts of Heroes.